The sky over planet Vegeta burned crimson as smoke billowed from the ruins of once proud Saiyan cities. The air crackled with the aftermath of energy blasts, and the ground trembled beneath the weight of destruction. Amid the chaos, a lone Saiyan warrior, his armor battered and his breathing ragged, clutched a small pod in his arms. This was Bardock, a low-class warrior, but one whose instincts had saved him time and again. His scouter flickered with warnings, Frieza's forces were closing in, and time was running out. Inside the pod lay his infant son, Kakarot, his tiny tail twitching as he slept, oblivious to the carnage around them. Bardock's mind raced. He had seen the vision, Frieza's betrayal, the annihilation of their race. The tyrant feared the Scion's potential, and now he was eradicating them all. But Bardock refused to let his son die here. Earth, a distant, weak planet, would be Kakarot's refuge. The boy would grow strong, far from Frieza's reach. With a final glance at his son, Bardock sealed the pod and activated the launch sequence. The engines roared to life, and in a flash of light, Kakarot was hurled into the stars, his fate now tied to an unknown world. Meanwhile, Frieza floated above the devastation, his lips curled in amusement as his soldiers rained death upon the Scions. His crimson eyes gleamed with satisfaction. Pathetic monkeys, he mused, watching as explosions lit up the horizon. But then his scouter beeped, an energy signature, escaping. His brow twitched. Dodoria, Zarbon, he called, his voice dripping with malice. Find whoever just left and bring me their head. The two elites grinned, their massive forms cutting through the smoke as they pursued Bardock. He sensed them coming, their power levels dwarfed his own, but he wouldn't run. Not yet. Planting his feet, Bardock unleashed a furious ki blast toward the sky, forcing Dodoria to swerve mid-flight. You've got spirit, runt. The pink brute laughed before diving at him, fists glowing with energy. Bardock sidestepped, countering with a vicious elbow to Dodoria's ribs, but Zarbon struck from behind, his clawed hand slashing across Bardock's back. Blood sprayed as Bardock gritted his teeth, spinning to retaliate with a knee to Zarbon's gut. The battle was brutal, each exchange a test of speed and endurance. Bardock's muscles burned, his body pushed to its limits. Dodoria charged again, his massive arms swinging in a crushing hammer blow. Bardock barely raised his arms in time, the impact sending shockwaves through his bones. He skidded backward, his boots carving trenches in the dirt. You're finished, Dodoria roared, firing a point-blank energy wave. Bardock crossed his arms, the blast engulfing him in a fiery explosion. But when the smoke cleared, Bardock still stood, his aura flickering wildly. His hair began to rise, his muscles swelling as a golden glow erupted around him. What? Zarbon gasped. Bardock's eyes burned with newfound power, his voice a guttural growl. This is for my people. In an instant, he vanished, reappearing behind Dodoria and driving his fist through the brute's chest. Dodoria's eyes bulged before he collapsed, lifeless. Zarbon barely had time to react before Bardock's energy blade slashed across his torso, sending him crashing into the ruins. Frieza's amusement turned to irritation. A Super Saiyan? Impossible. He raised a single finger, a tiny sphere of violet energy forming at its tip. No matter. You die now. The death beam lanced through the air, but Bardock dodged, his body moving faster than ever. He rocketed toward Frieza, his fist cocked back for a final, desperate strike. Frieza smirked. Fool. With a flick of his wrist, he unleashed a wave of destruction, the shockwave hurling Bardock into the planet's core. As the world exploded around him, Bardock's last thought was of Kakarot, his hope for the future. Far away, the pod streaked through the void, its course set for Earth. Inside, the infant Saiyan slept peacefully, unaware of the war he would one day inherit. Dragon Ball, Bardock's Secret, Part 2. The sky above Mount Pozu churned with dark clouds as Goku stood frozen, his father's words echoing in his mind. Frieza is coming, Bardock had warned, his scarred face grim. And he won't stop until every last Saiyan is erased. Before Goku could respond, a deafening explosion rocked the horizon, a massive ship, emblazoned with the PTO insignia, tore through the atmosphere like a falling star. Vegeta landed beside Goku, his boots kicking up dust. TCH. So the rumors were true, he muttered, eyes locked on the descending vessel. Frieza's finally decided to clean up his mess. Goku clenched his fists. We can't let him hurt Earth, he yelled, but Vegeta smirked. Don't flatter yourself, Kakarot. This fight was never about your pathetic planet. Before they could argue further, a new threat emerged, a squad of Frieza's elite soldiers, led by a hulking, horned warrior named Zorn. Lord Frieza sends his regards, Zorn sneered, cracking his knuckles. He thought you might need a proper welcome. Without hesitation, Goku and Vegeta lunged into battle. Goku weaved between energy blasts, using instant transmission to appear behind Zorn and deliver a crushing elbow to his spine. The brute roared, swinging a massive tail that sent Goku skidding across the rocky terrain. Vegeta capitalized on the distraction, firing a rapid volley of ki blasts, but Zorn deflected them with a shockwave from his palms. Pathetic, Zorn taunted. Is this all the mighty Scions have? Meanwhile, Piccolo and Gohan arrived, sensing the turmoil. Goku, Gohan shouted, but before he could join, a shadowy figure dropped from the ship, Turles, a rogue Saiyan with a twisted grin. Well, Turles mused, cracking his neck. Looks like I get to settle an old score. Piccolo stepped forward, eyes narrowing. Another Saiyan? Turles chuckled. Let's just say I'm not here to reminisce. The battle fractured into chaos. Goku and Vegeta struggled against Zorn's raw power, their combined attacks barely staggering him. We need to work together, Goku panted, but Vegeta scoffed. I don't need your help. He powered up to Super Saiyan, slamming a fist into Zorn's gut, only for the warrior to grab his arm and hurl him into a cliffside. Across the battlefield, Piccolo and Gohan fought Turles, who wielded a strange, fruit-like object that amplified his strength. You're outmatched, Turles sneered, dodging Piccolo's Mekanko Sappo and countering with a brutal knee to Gohan's ribs. Gohan coughed blood but forced himself up. We can't lose. Not now. As the clashes intensified, a new player entered the fray. Raditz, battered but alive, emerged from the wreckage of a fallen scout pod. Brother, he rasped, locking eyes with Goku. You're stronger than I thought. Goku's heart pounded. Was Raditz here to help, or betray them again? Before answers came, the ground trembled. Frieza's ship unleashed a monstrous energy cannon, charging for a planet-ending blast. Zorn laughed. Say goodbye to your precious Earth. Time was running out. Goku gritted his teeth. Vegeta, we have to stop that cannon. Vegeta wiped blood from his lip. TCH. Fine. But don't slow me down. They rocketed toward the ship, dodging artillery fire, while Piccolo and Gohan desperately held off Turles. Just as the cannon fired, Raditz intercepted, unleashing a desperate energy wave to deflect the blast, but it wasn't enough. The explosion engulfed him, and Goku screamed his name. The dust cleared, revealing Raditz barely clinging to life. Kakarot, he gasped. Frieza. He's not just after us. He's after you. The revelation hung in the air like a death sentence. The battle wasn't just about survival anymore, it was about destiny. And Frieza was coming. The atmosphere on Earth was tense as Goku trained relentlessly, his instincts sharpened by the whispers of an impending threat. Meanwhile, Vegeta and Piccolo sparred nearby, their rivalry momentarily set aside as they sensed something darker approaching. Bulma monitored the energy readings from Capsule Corp, her fingers flying over the console. This isn't good, she muttered. Energy signatures matching Frieza's forces are closing in, but there's something else. Something stronger. Goku wiped sweat from his brow, his heart pounding. Frieza's coming for me, he said, fists clenching. But why now? After all these years? Vegeta scoffed. Because you're a fool who never finishes the job. He survived Namek, and now he's coming for revenge. Piccolo's eyes narrowed. There's more to it. Frieza wouldn't risk another defeat unless he had a trump card. Suddenly, the sky darkened as a massive warship descended, its shadow swallowing the land. The hatch opened, and Frieza stepped out, his golden form gleaming with arrogance. Behind him stood a figure none of them expected, Raditz, alive and smirking. Goku's blood ran cold. Brother? But, how? Raditz chuckled. Frieza had me revived, Kakarot. And I've been upgraded. His aura flared, revealing power beyond anything he'd possessed before. Frieza's laughter was venomous. Did you really think your father sent you here out of mercy? No. Bardock foresaw my rise, and he hid you like a coward. But now, I'll erase his bloodline completely. Goku's fists trembled, not with fear, but fury. You're lying, Raditz sneered. Father knew you were weak. He sent you to Earth to die, but you survived. A mistake I'll correct. The betrayal cut deep. Goku's vision blurred. Was everything he knew a lie? Had his father abandoned him? Vegeta scoffed. Pathetic. But if you're too soft to fight, step aside. He launched himself at Raditz, only to be swatted away like an insect. The Saiyan prince crashed into a mountain, coughing blood. Impossible. Piccolo moved next, but Raditz dodged effortlessly, slamming an elbow into his spine. The Namekian crumpled. Goku roared, his hair flashing gold as he transformed. You won't hurt my friends. He clashed with Raditz, their fists colliding in shockwaves that shattered the earth. But Raditz was faster, stronger, his strikes landing with brutal precision. Goku gasped as a knee drove into his gut, sending him skidding back. Frieza smirked. How disappointing. The legendary Super Saiyan, outmatched by his own kin. Bulma's voice crackled through Goku's earpiece. Goku, listen. Raditz's power is artificial, Frieza must have augmented him. There's a weakness, his energy fluctuates every 30 seconds. Wait for the dip. Goku's eyes widened. He just had to survive until then. Raditz lunged again, but Goku feinted, twisting midair to land a kick to his brother's ribs. Raditz snarled, retaliating with a blast that seared Goku's shoulder. The pain was blinding, but Goku gritted his teeth. He could feel it, Raditz's power flickering. Now. Gathering every ounce of strength, Goku unleashed a point-blank Kamehameha. The beam tore through Raditz's chest, his eyes widening in shock. And no. Frieza. Promised. He collapsed, his body dissolving into energy. Frieza's amusement vanished. A minor setback, he hissed. His fingers twitched, and the ground erupted as a monstrous energy sphere formed above him. Enough games. This planet dies now. Goku staggered, his energy spent. He couldn't stop this. But then, a familiar voice. Not today, Frieza. Bardock's spectral form materialized beside Goku, his eyes blazing. I didn't send Kakarot here to hide. I sent him to survive. And fight back. The revelation struck like lightning. Bardock hadn't abandoned him, he'd given him a chance. Frieza recoiled. You? You're dead. Bardock smirked. But my son isn't. He channeled his energy into Goku, reigniting his Super Saiyan aura. Finish this. With a roar, Goku rocketed toward Frieza, their final clash shaking the heavens. The battle wasn't just for Earth anymore, it was for justice, for family, for the future. And this time, Goku wouldn't fail. Dragon Ball, The True Purpose of Bardock's Sacrifice, Part 4. The air crackled with energy as Goku and Vegeta stood side by side, their muscles tensed and eyes locked onto Frieza, who hovered mockingly above them. The tyrant's smirk widened as he flexed his golden claws, the sheer pressure of his aura distorting the battlefield. You monkeys still think you stand a chance? Frieza taunted, his voice dripping with malice. Goku wiped blood from his lip, his breathing heavy but determined. We're not done yet, he growled, his fists clenching. Vegeta's eyes flickered with rage. Save your breath, Kakarot. This ends now. In an instant, they both vanished, reappearing on either side of Frieza in a blur of motion. Goku launched a devastating right hook, but Frieza twisted midair, narrowly avoiding the strike before countering with a knee to Goku's ribs. The Saiyan gasped as the impact sent him skidding backward, but Vegeta was already in motion, his foot slamming into Frieza's side with enough force to crack the ground beneath them. Frieza snarled, retaliating with a whip-like tail strike that sent Vegeta crashing into a nearby rock formation. Goku forced himself upright, his body screaming in protest. He could feel his energy fluctuating, his Super Saiyan blue form was draining him faster than expected. But he couldn't afford to hold back. With a roar, he unleashed a barrage of ki blasts, forcing Frieza to weave through the explosions. The tyrant laughed, his movements effortless. Is this the best you can do? He sneered before vanishing. Goku barely had time to react before a crushing elbow slammed into his spine, sending him face first into the dirt. Vegeta recovered just in time to see Goku's body crumple. His vision burned red. You bastard, he roared, his aura exploding into a deeper shade of blue as he tapped into his Ultra Ego form. His muscles bulged, veins pulsing with raw power. Frieza's eyes widened slightly, just enough for Vegeta to capitalize. The Saiyan Prince lunged forward, his fist connecting with Frieza's jaw in a thunderous impact. The tyrant reeled, but Vegeta didn't let up. He drove a knee into Frieza's gut before spinning and delivering a crushing axe kick to his shoulder, forcing him to one knee. Frieza spat blood, his golden form flickering. Impressive, he admitted grudgingly before his tail lashed out, wrapping around Vegeta's throat and yanking him forward. But not enough. He slammed his fist into Vegeta's stomach, then followed with a point-blank death beam aimed at his chest. Vegeta barely managed to deflect it with a desperate ki barrier, but the force still sent him flying. Goku staggered to his feet, watching as Vegeta struggled. His mind raced, they needed a new strategy. Frieza was too fast, too strong. But then, a memory flashed, his father, Bardock, sending him to Earth not for destruction, but for survival. For a future. Goku's fists trembled. He wouldn't let that sacrifice be in vain. Summoning every ounce of remaining energy, Goku unleashed a deafening ki, the shockwave forcing Frieza back a step. The Saiyan's body glowed violently as he tapped into Ultra Instinct, his movements becoming fluid, instinctual. Frieza's smirk faltered for the first time. What? Before he could finish, Goku was already upon him, his fists moving faster than sight. A devastating uppercut rocked Frieza's head back, followed by a spinning kick that sent him crashing through a mountainside. Vegeta, panting, watched in awe before forcing himself to stand. "Took you long enough," he muttered, wiping blood from his mouth. Goku grinned. "Let's finish this." Frieza emerged from the rubble, his golden form now flickering erratically. His face twisted in fury. "You insects will pay for this." He howled, charging a massive energy sphere between his hands, the same technique that had once destroyed planet Vegeta. The ground trembled as the attack grew, threatening to erase everything. Goku and Vegeta exchanged a glance, no words needed. They clasped hands, their auras merging in a blinding explosion of light. "Now," Goku shouted. Together, they unleashed a combined Kamehameha Gallic gun, the beam clashing violently against Frieza's attack. The shockwave ripped across the battlefield, the sheer force threatening to tear the planet apart. Frieza's eyes widened as his energy sphere began to crack under the pressure. "No. This is impossible." He shrieked, his body straining as the beams inched closer. With a final, deafening roar, Goku and Vegeta pushed beyond their limits, their attack overwhelming Frieza's and engulfing him in a cataclysmic explosion. The dust settled. Silence. Goku collapsed to his knees, his body spent. Vegeta staggered but remained standing, his chest heaving. Frieza was nowhere to be seen, only a smoldering crater remained. For the first time in what felt like eternity, the battle was over. But as the two Saiyans caught their breath, a faint, sinister chuckle echoed in the distance. A shadowy figure flickered at the edge of the battlefield, whispers of a power far greater than Frieza's. The true fight had only just begun. Dragon Ball, the fate of a warrior. The sky above Earth split open as Frieza's warship descended, casting a monstrous shadow over the battlefield. Goku, battered but unbroken, wiped blood from his lip as he glared upward. His muscles ached, his energy flickered, but his spirit burned brighter than ever. Across the ruined landscape, Vegeta stood, his fists clenched, his pride warring with desperation. This was it, the final stand. Frieza emerged, his laughter a venomous echo. "Pathetic," he sneered, flexing his golden claws. "You monkeys still believe you can defy me?" His aura flared, the ground trembling beneath his power. Goku and Vegeta exchanged a glance, no words, just understanding. This fight wasn't just for Earth. It was for their people, for the Saiyans Frieza had slaughtered. For Kakarot, sent away not as a conqueror, but as a survivor. With a roar, they charged. Goku blurred forward, his fist slamming into Frieza's gut, only for the tyrant to smirk and vanish. A crushing elbow smashed into Goku's spine, sending him crashing into the earth. Vegeta lunged, a volley of ki blasts erupting from his palms, but Frieza swatted them aside like gnats. A backhand sent Vegeta skidding, his armor cracking. "You're nothing." Frieza taunted, his tail whipping around to snatch Goku midair. He hurled him into Vegeta, the two Saiyans colliding in a tangle of limbs. Blood splattered the dirt. Goku forced himself up, his body screaming in protest. He reached deep, deeper, into the well of power he'd spent his life chasing. The Super Saiyan God energy flickered, then surged. His hair ignited crimson, his eyes blazing. "We're not done yet," he growled. Vegeta wiped his mouth, grinning despite the pain. "Took you long enough." His own aura erupted, blue flames merging with Goku's red. The ground split beneath them as they launched their assault. Frieza's arrogance faltered. He blocked Goku's punch, only for Vegeta's knee to slam into his ribs. They moved in perfect sync, Goku's speed, Vegeta's precision. A spinning kick from Goku sent Frieza reeling, and Vegeta seized the opening, driving his fist into Frieza's jaw with a crack. The tyrant spat blood, his golden form flickering. "Impossible." He snarled. Goku didn't let him recover. He clasped his hands, summoning every ounce of energy. Came hame. Vegeta flanked Frieza, his own attack primed. Final. Their voices merged. Ha! Twin beams of destruction lanced forward, engulfing Frieza in a cataclysmic explosion. The shockwave ripped across the planet, shaking mountains, splitting the sky. Silence. Then, smoke cleared. Frieza stood, barely, His body scorched, his armor in tatters. His knees buckled. No. I am the Emperor. Goku stepped forward, his power still humming. You lost the moment you underestimated us. Frieza's eyes widened as Vegeta appeared behind him, his palm pressed to the tyrant's back. Goodbye, Frieza. A point-blank blast tore through him, leaving nothing but ash. The battle was over. Panting, Goku collapsed to one knee. Vegeta staggered but refused to fall. Around them, the earth lay scarred, but alive. In the aftermath, the universe shifted. Planets once under Frieza's heel breathed freely. The Scions, scattered survivors, felt something stir, hope. Goku looked at Vegeta, a tired smile forming. We did it. Vegeta scoffed, but there was no malice. We survived. That's enough. Above, the stars glittered, unchained at last. The legacy of Bardock's choice, sending his son away not for destruction, but salvation, had come full circle. And somewhere, in the echoes of time, a father's sacrifice was finally honored. The future was theirs to shape.